Don't skip the long statistics question in your maths exam. 99% of students say that this is the hardest part of statistics, but if you know what you're doing, you can make it a lot easier and it could give you free marks. So let's have a go here, okay? Now, the null hypothesis, what is that? The null hypothesis is whatever we're checking to see if they're correct. So the hotel was rated 75%. They carried out a survey to see if it is still 75%, okay? So your null hypothesis would be that it didn't change, and that's how it always is. It's always whatever, like if it didn't change. So if it originally was 75%, our null hypothesis that the probability, or I guess, yeah, the probability, no, the proportion of people saying that it's the best hotel chain is 75% or 0.75. So the alternative hypothesis, you might be able to kind of take an educated guess. If we have a hypothesis, alternatively, the only other thing that can happen is that this doesn't happen. So easy as that, P is not 0.75. Now we have to do calculations. Okay, so this is the part where it's kind of weird, and this is where you want to understand what you're actually doing. So we have P in the middle, right? 75%. Now, we're conducting a survey, but it's very unlikely that we're going to get 75% on the dot. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a bit of margin of error. So that way, you know, we can say that we're confident, but in a way where we're not like exactly on the dot. So in order to do that, we're going to say whatever we get, whatever the hotel gets from their sample, which is, we say P hat, okay? And we're just going to add that error on. So minus the error, so as in it's going to be less than this P, right? And then this again. And then just the same thing again, plus the error. So that way, now we've formed a margin of error on our question here. Now we just need to find what all these are. So firstly, P is 0.75. We know that. So let's take a look at the P hat first. So in order to find P hat, it's actually, you have to look at the question. So if you look here, the sample is 1,000 people, and 765 of those people have said that it is the best hotel chain. So that means our P hat is 765 out of 1,000. Okay. Now I'm going to rewrite this just so that it's easier. It's the same thing. I'm just going to write it as a decimal. So 0.765. Okay. Minus E is less than the proportion is less than the 0.765 plus the error. Now, what is the error? So technically you can do the error as anything you want, but we need to be specifically 95% confident. Because what you have to do is, it says 5% level of significance, and what's 100 minus 5? 95. So there you go. In order to get E, okay, what you want to do is, firstly, the square root of P, 1 minus P, all over N. Then from there, what we're going to do is, this will give us like an error, but it's not very specific as to where how big the error is. So we want the error to be 2 deviations, and 2 deviations is 1.96. It's almost 2 deviations. I need 95% of the data to lay inside of this kind of piece here. Okay, let's say here is my P. So here's my margin of errors. Okay, here's the left side, here's the right side, of course. So what we're basically saying is that 95% of the data has to be in here. And if 95% of the data is in here, then the Z score is 1.96, as in each side is 1.96 away from the mean, away from the center. Okay, that's why that works. So you want to put the 1.96. Now we have P, okay? If you're not given P, which will happen sometimes, and you will know what I mean when you look at a question that doesn't give you P. But since we do have P here, it's 75%, we can do this out, okay? So now I have the answer here. So our error is 0.062. This is wrong. 0.0268. So that's our margin of error. Now I'm gonna just I'll do it up here. So now 0.765 minus 0.0268. Okay, and then the same thing with the plus. So 0.765 plus 0.0268. Okay. And then what you'll end up doing is once you do those, you can kind of finally finish this this interval, and what you'll get is 0.7334 is less than p is less than 0.7966. So the specialty here, what does this mean? We're basically saying, okay, so we're 95% confident that what our portion is now is between here and here, between the left side, between the right side. So, and let's see. So if it hasn't changed, then 0.75 should be inside there, right? I'll actually change this to 0.75. 0.75. Okay. And as you can see, it is, right? 0.75 is bigger than 0.73. It's also smaller than 0.79, right? So because of that, we can say it's inside the interval, so it has not changed. So conclusion, now you have to be specific here. We don't say we accept our hypothesis, our null hypothesis. We don't say that. Instead, we say we fail to reject. We fail to reject H1, okay? Or not H1, H0. H0 is your null hypothesis. Your alternative hypothesis is H1. So you don't want to say accept ever. It's always fail to reject the HO or fail to reject H1, depending on what it is. In this case, it's HO. Okay, so now that's it. The only thing now is to give a reason for our conclusion, which you already know as we did it. 0.75 is within the interval. Okay, so that's how it works. Hopefully this makes it a bit easier for you, and let me know if you want to see one with the means. Don't skip the statistics long. Don't skip the statistics question. Don't skip the statistics question in your Leaving Cert Maths paper. Don't skip the long statistics. Don't skip the long statistics. Don't skip the long statistics question in your maths exam. So, this one is extremely. Well, it's not. Don't skip the Don't skip the long question.